Hi, ho everyone. My name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 54. As we hop into today's video, we'll talk about what we discuss as well as our guest, Leopard. But first off, we have a review titled 10.1 Star Podcast by Carson3484926. Started watching around Vanilla D1, and I'm so grateful I've stuck around. Literally changed my life and make me smile every day. Also, Among Us was literally the best thing that's ever happened for the content. And trust me, everyone loves it. Of course, a 5-star rating. He would obviously, like the title says, give us a 10.1 if he could. Thank you very much, though, Carson. And in today's video, we learned from our guest Leopard his lore. How did he get here? When did he first start gaming? You'd be surprised. And how he got here. It's been a journey. And then on top of that, we spend what seems like a long time reminiscing about ancient technology that kids these days just don't even understand.
They wouldn't understand.
We briefly mentioned some of the new Xbox stuff. Friggin', I don't know. We rambled a bit, but what can you expect? It's GG Over Easy. Enjoy the episode. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 54. Back with another guest. In today's episode, the one, the only, as far as I'm aware, unless there are more of you, Leopard Stealth. Hey.
Hello. Leopard.
Thanks for coming on.
Rabby
No
V.
stealth
Fruit.
now.
Yeah, we dropped the stealth. I'm like
That's
Cher
true.
now. You don't need the last name anymore. Just Leopard.
I only
Yeah,
have
sure.
you.
Cher had a
Twitter.
lot. I don't even know Cher's last. Does she have a last name and
No.
then just cut it to Cher? Oh, okay. So it's just
Cher Stealth, I think it was, but
oh, okay.
I mean, the thing about the stealth was like a little redundant because I mean,
Leopards
True.
are stealthy.
You're already stealthy.
yeah,
So I
mean,
just put
yeah.
Leopard on the overlay, but then
Perfect.
your Twitter is still Leopard Stealth. So I was like,
I know. Yeah, I've been trying to snag it, but when you're not big time, like
Yeah. When you're not an
Everyone
endangered
else.
species, like
I
they don't
can't
really...
grab mine, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, God forbid you take the username that hasn't been used in
3 or 4
on
years.
Twitter,
Yeah.
and all
Wait,
it is it's like a hacked account that's like, check out this cool giveaway.
Maybe
Oh,
I'll
is it
win.
really? Is that what Leopard is?
It's like some old business account that got sold off, and I've been trying to.
Well, to anybody
Acquiesce with
listening,
it.
do not go interact with it because that makes it worse.
Right.
Don't even
give 'em
click on their
alerts.
profile. Yeah, just don't
Focus on this man right here.
leave them alone.
Yeah.
Which is why I'll never get mine. Feels bad, but that's fine.
What is? Oh yeah, isn't yours like some like Thailand company or something like
I
that?
don't know. It's some just random Joe Schmo. But yeah,
Oh.
Mr. Fruit YT, dude, that's me. No brand synergy. That's right. Everything is different. We love that. Feels bad. But anyway, episode 54. Thank you very much for watching and or listening to this episode of the podcast. Like I said, we got ourselves a guest here. It's been a couple episodes since we did the 10 or 11 guest-a-thon. We'll be throwing in guests every now and then. But without further ado, before we get into some more topical stuff, let's spend time to get to know the one, the only Leopard. That's it. Leopard.
Yeah.
So-
I've met everyone here, but Blue, I guess, in real life. I've
Wait,
not had the
really?
pleasure. Yeah, I met Christian back in.
I mean, I've seen you like a couple.
That's the iconic
I
picture when you're doing
Oh,
the
yeah,
dance. That's.
there
I
was
think
a
that's
picture
the
from
first time we
Guardian
met.
Con. Yeah, a little ballerina lep.
Did you go to the
No,
first
I met
Guardian
Christian
Con?
at one of Goss meetups.
Yeah, I was
before
gonna say-
Guardian Con.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, we might have just met at his house.
Yeah, but then of course Guardian Con
Yeah.
several times, and Rabby same places. Yeah, but never Blue.
Maybe
Never
one
lucky enough to
day,
meet Blue.
2025. Whenever
He-
Cyberpunk comes out, that's when
That's
it'll
when
be
Blue
possible
comes out.
to meet me. Yeah.
So you lost your stealth, and he took it. And that's why. It's
Right.
BlueWestlo
He's Blue
stealth.
Westlo stealth.
Yeah. Rebrand.
Penguin
So
stuff.
anyway, when we normally have guests, we like to learn their lore. So
Leopard
this
lore, okay.
is where you get to take the floor and tell us however little or much you want to talk about to where you got in your life right now with that green screen behind you. And I am
Green
curious real
screen.
quick,
That's green room. Like
What is
that's
that?
a whole-
Yeah.
what is that little handlebar thing you got right
Oh,
there?
this thing? That's the microphone.
Oh, the
I have
mic
a shotgun
stand.
mic. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't like
it's-
having the.
You painted the mic?
Dude, that is
No, it's like a
huge,
piece of tape.
Uh,
It was a little piece of tape. I just don't like
See.
having the mic in the shot because I do a lot of like green
He goes to
screen,
space.
Yeah, I
magic stuff. So I don't like having anything in the shot.
I hate that too. Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
try and
just all
avoid
over your
that all the
face.
time.
Yeah, it's like I can pull it in a little closer, but we like to keep it off to the side. Leopard Lore. Man, my life's incredibly boring. But let's start with I created the name Leopard Stealth because I used to be known as SWAT Cat, which when I was 12 was cool on a Cartoon Network. A little
That is a sick, like,
SWAT Cat.
that's like
great
a
cartoon.
sick gamer tag.
What's it
back in
from?
the day.
It was,
Hey,
dude. It was
Us
so
cats
edgy.
got to stick together. Rowdy Cool Cat was my first gamer tag.
Really?
Yep, I was a
I
cat
didn't
too.
know that.
I was a cat.
Rowdy Cool Cat.
That
All
was
right,
me.
I was SWAT Cat.
He's come a long way.
K. But then I was going into so this is the year 1999. I was going into high school and I thought, man, I gotta have a cooler name. And SWAT Cat for AOL Instant Messenger. So I was like, my high school's mascot's gonna be Tigers, so I want to be Tiger Power taken, Tiger
Nice.
Strength taken. I was like, damn. Okay, what about Leopard Strength? Not taken, but not relevant. So what are leopards known for? Leopard Stealth, not taken. Boom, snagged the AOL Instant Messenger name.
Nice.
And
ASL.
Yeah, exactly.
I say
So-
ASL all the time. Like whenever someone brings up AOL, nobody knows what it means.
It's sex location, baby. Yeah, chat rooms, MSN Gaming Zone. I mean, from there I just flourished out. But I first got my name probably on Xbox in 2004 for Halo 2, which released my freshman year of college. I played Halo 2 incessantly, Halo 2 nonstop.
Must have been a good
on
year of
Xbox
college.
Live. Yeah, first great year of college. Probably was bad.
You played
effect on my
Halo 2 in
GPA.
college? Oh, that's
Yes,
like
young rabbit. Yeah. So
I was like
18 in 2004.
5. Like I was
Yeah.
like
I remember being.
I was like 10.
He was teething on the
Yeah.
controller.
I remember being like
Seriously.
just a little kid. When was I? Were we in elementary school then? Around that time?
I was in 6th grade.
Wow.
I was in 6th grade because I
Middle
remember
school, just
Alec-
entering middle school. Yeah.
Alec was the
remember
only
middle
one
school-
that also had Xbox Live.
Just getting into gaming, and the next gen consoles are being teased. I knew it was like the hugest thing, and I just remember seeing Halo, and I was like, I got an Xbox. Of course, I didn't, but I was just thinking about that as a kid.
Yeah.
The original Xbox was considered next gen.
Well, it was the what do you call it?
The
Well,
360.
you're talking about Halo 2. Yeah, but
We're talking OG.
I remember Halo 3 when 360 and Halo 3 was like the launch title, and they had all this huge cinematic trailer, and I was like, that
Yeah.
is sick.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Never
No,
played
so
Halo 2, but
wow, missing out. I mean, and the reason I always say Halo 2 is my favorite because that's the one I mained in college, and then Halo 3 was like at the tail end. But
How many hours?
So nonstop through college, 2 years straight, and then I kind of bored of it. But then I found about like MLG and like BXB, BXR, and
yep.
action.
Who's your
canceling
favorite MLG
glitches.
team?
It's gotta be Final Boss.
Nice.
Hey, that was good.
nice.
Final boss.
I don't know which.
Hate Carbon.
I don't know which setup though. If it was like Ogre 1, 2, Walshy, and Strong
Sane?
Side, or if it was what's the original teammate?
It's Sane.
Sane,
Or
yeah.
Sane, yeah.
Probably Strong Side. I like Strong Side a lot, but
That
No, I
FB
probably
team
have-
was so sick.
10, 20,000 hours in Halo too. I can't even get. I mean, I played it not like in college when you don't have kids, when you don't have a job, you have scholarship. You're just playing until you.
Did you
Good
land
job.
too? Did you have buddies to land with, or was it mostly
Yeah, we brought
online?
friends from back home over. We had our college apartment had two, much to the dismay of our girlfriends, my roommate and I. We had two couches back to back. On either side of the living room was like always two TVs set up on either side, and so we would, play Xbox
dope.
Live mostly, but then have just
No
Lance
screen
probably-
peeking.
no back to back couches. Yeah, you weren't looking at each other's screens for sure.
How much
I
room did you have?
remember-
Because those are CR TVs. That's like a.
Yeah, we had 60-pound TVs. It was a huge. I mean, 12 by 12 room, little cheap college apartment, $500 a
Now,
month.
did you know your roommate, or did like you get a random roommate and he just also liked the game?
No, so my roommate, like a Twitch mod in my channel today. I've known him since I was 5. His name's
Oh.
Awana.
Shout out.
Yeah. we grew up next to each other, like neighbors. My mom actually worked for his dad as a dairy worker for 12 years because we lived out in the boondocks down a 3-mile dirt road, literally in the middle of nowhere, and we just happened to go to Florida State together.
FSU.
Seminoles, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually,
Did you ever go to the games?
Everybody where I grew up loved the Seminoles.
Not this year. No, yeah, we used to go all the time, but I'm not a huge sports ball fan because like I play video games all the time. I like the whole like hanging out with your friends stuff, but I don't really care about football that much.
So this is the most important question because Christian and I to this day still have debates about who's better. Who was better, you or your roommate?
Oh, in Halo?
Yeah.
My roommate. He was better.
Yeah.
He's a bigger man.
What was your match?
His BR shot was like you could trust it. Like if we needed to make a push on like flag, I was like, I'm gonna let him
He's
go.
the opener.
He's gonna force shot. I'm gonna choke. I'm always gonna choke.
You were support?
I was like that high risk aggressive guy that pushed in for the objective, but he was I would
noble
say he's more
sacrifice.
support, but you could depend on him. You cannot depend on me. You cannot depend on Leopard. You cannot tell Leopard go.
So what you go to school? So you're going to school and you're like, I'm going to stream Halo 2 coming out of college because streaming is a thing in 2000.
No, in 2005, 2004, there was no such thing as individual streaming.
YouTube wasn't even a
streaming
thing
from
yet.
home. Yeah, it was. So I tried to go. I went to MLG like Orlando 06, played some tournaments with my roommates and some other people.
How'd you guys
pretty
do?
much
of course.
Yeah, we definitely placed top 10, 28 maybe. Really our breakout year, 2005. No, it was, we took it semi-seriously, but I pretty much just got my degree in bachelor's in management information systems, which is like business and technology combined. It's not that exciting. It's like project management with tech, like programming background, which immediately got me my internship to this software development job. And in 2008, I got hired full-time after I graduated. And 2008 was also the same year MLG hired me to become a graphics coordinator. So I would, I created all like the lower thirds and the team rosters and the brackets for any MLG event around Halo 3 at the time. That was the game that's the Halo game they were playing those years.
Well, then
so
Rob and I were probably enjoying your lower
we
thirds.
we saw those graphics.
You saw
those
my
are sick
graphics.
I saw
Yes.
them.
I remember, like, dude, who like Puckett. He's an alright commentator, but look at these graphics.
Look at these lower thirds. Look at how
Shibby who? Leopard with these graphics.
And the thing was, I didn't even create the original graphics. I was just like the advanced data entry, changing all the names and the titles and the team roster. Like because I'm not very like artsy creative. I'm creative in I think different ways. And so I did that for a year, but then I realized, every month I was like leaving my real job, my programming job, for like 5 days every month, and it wasn't very. I felt like it wasn't a very smart idea to sacrifice what could be a career for me, to just fly out to events and like make basically no money to hang out with and fanboy to all these amazing Halo players and it. So I quit after a year.
The graphics went downhill, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I saw them go down as well.
Completely plummeted. No, so that was 2008.
I haven't even recovered to this day. Some would say that's why the Halo esports. Once you left and those graphics went down, they were like, "I'm not watching this."
Halo's not as popular now. I don't know.
It's trash. The Halo scene is dead.
It's so sad. Well, Rob and I always talk about this. It was so funny because we watched Halo competitive. Like Call of Duty, it's so stupid. Call of Duty competitive, and now just
back when Call of Duty comp, we were like, these kids think Call of Duty is like comp.
I had those same like thoughts, and I don't know why I held them so like passionately, but I was like, Gears of War, get it out of here. Call of Duty, trash. It's Halo. Because that's just all I played. That's all I knew. And I was young, and I was, that's just how.
But Halo was it. Halo was the best. Like it was the biggest at the time. But other than StarCraft and stuff. If
you talk to Gears and Call of Duty fans, they disagree, Rabby.
Well, see, the funny thing is, as a Halo fan, a lot of us are like, yeah, it just ain't what it is. But I know some Gears people who will fight you to the day they die. They're like, no, dude, it's it's there, man. The competitive scene, it's just like it's almost there, man. Like they just got to give us a chance, and they're just jaded. Like no, bro.
The Destiny scene is there,
Dude.
bro.
Oh man.
At least
Things
there's
never
enough
change.
people playing
Things never
Destiny.
change.
Yeah.
So that was 2008. Then entered kind of the period of my life where I was so dedicated to my job that I loved. Just a quick overview was I basically created the program that automatically calculates all of the release dates for every prisoner in the state of California. And I know you're going to think I'm making that up. And your first thought's probably, well, how hard can it be? You get sentenced plus 3 years, you get out. And it's way, way, way more complicated than that. You have all these rules that have lasted for years and years and years. It's just, at the end of the story, it's very complicated.
A lot of if-then statements.
All my brain juice on it for years. And we took them from like 30% accuracy with their automatic calculations. And we implemented in 2013, we got them up to 70%. And then for the next 2 years, up to 99%. And it's just what I dedicate my life to. And I basically...
You Steve Jobs?
No, just a really dedicated programmer. And I lost kind of I didn't play video games very much. I played them a little bit. I was also got married in 2013. And so my life was just all out. Like I did not think about video games at all until we implemented in August of 2013. I got married in October 2013. And then I was like, oh, all right, what's going on? Like, what hobbies can I have? Because I gotta have time for a hobby now. And late 2013, I started like, what's Bungie doing now? Oh, they're not doing Halo. They're doing Destiny. What's this about? And got into the subreddit, made some friends, got on the forums, the BNet forums, and that's where I met
dangerous place.
Prime Guard, which I crossed paths with Dado and a lot of the original Prime Guard guys, and that's where I got my toes dipped into Destiny. And because of my background in MLG, I had been toying around with audio, video, and like live streaming tech, but I hadn't ever gone live on Justin TV or Twitch because I never felt like it was just like a hobby. Like I just wanted to buy some tech and play around with it with my career full-time job money, but I didn't spend very much on it. I like toying around with things. So I had a little bit of time, but not enough time to really research stuff. So once 2013 was done, I actually had time to be like, oh, maybe I can click the go live button on XSplit or OBS and see what happens. But it wasn't until Destiny came out that I really felt the desire to want to do that. But even then, it was super irregular. Like I made like one YouTube video, 2 YouTube videos in like June of 2014, right before the beta during the alpha, and it was all just kind of hobby as you're just toying around with things because you have a perfectly good job that you like and you have no reason to spend too much time on it.
I remember that D1 beta, grinded that.
Did you upload anything from that, Christian? Like from the
no,
D1 beta at all?
I was done with YouTube at the time.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I give up.
I uploaded like 5 Destiny Alpha videos on YouTube that got like tens of thousands of views, which is at the time I didn't understand if that was really good or not because I was just like, click upload. All right, I'm gonna go do this, and then like I go back and look at things and like actually for someone with like 1,000 YouTube subs, that's incredible. But I didn't pursue it because YouTube's not ever been really my thing because I'm kind of a perfectionist in certain ways, and so every time I'd make like this stupid YouTube video, it would take all week, and that's just not how YouTube content works. You really got to kind of pump things out much more regularly usually, and that's why I kind of fell into streaming because I could just kind of eventually go live a little bit every day before my job or after my real job.
Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
All right, we're back with Rob's MyBookie picks. All right, now this is coming out Sunday, so you guys may or may not be able to get this pick, but I'm hammering Jets plus 6.5 at MyBookie. Winning season returns at MyBookie. Winning season means doubling your first deposit, which I'm definitely doing. Winning season means Survivor, Super Contest, and Squares. Invest in your intuition. Use promo code OVER and double your first deposit. New players get up to $1,000 in a free play, designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet. From live betting to a championship futures, it's simple. Make your picks, win big, collect your cash. Use code promo OVER and double your first deposit. Your winning season begins today only at MyBookie. Now, Jets plus 6.5 is my first bet. Make sure you guys tune in for the next MyBookie ad for Rob's next hammer.
So fast forward, the lore of Leopard kind of continued into 3 hours a day before my job, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern every morning. I would just stream Destiny 1 on PlayStation and
the PlayStation 4 stream.
And then go to work for 8 hours a day and kind of start getting super burned out. And then I made it worse in 2015 to 2016. I kept that up. But then I started doing
burnt out on your
streams.
Job or your streaming?
Burnout just in life because I was always streaming. I was always working. I was always I was going too hard.
There's always something.
And then, wife's pregnant in 2015, and she's like 8 months pregnant. And the day before taking King out, day before taking King comes out,
I remember
she goes into labor at 29 weeks, and normally it's 40 weeks. So she goes into labor hell early, and I'm already grinding taking King, and I'm with like Dado and Merrick, another math class clanmate, and we're getting prepped for the raid, King's Fall, and we're just grind. And then like, hey, okay, I'm admitted to the hospital, and I'm like,
can you just keep it in for a couple more weeks? Like, come on.
Yeah, hold him in there.
Sorry, babe.
It can't be that hard, right? Like, come on.
I'm grinding with
say hi to my child for me.
So I got a piece out of that, and it's I was just part of the lore of Leopard. They try to slow her like labor and delivery down, and so for a day, she's just sitting there going, they're just trying to slow the labor. There's nothing to do. Go get your PlayStation. And I'm like, you want me to go get my PlayStation and come
I love you,
to
honey.
the labor delivery room and play Destiny? Yeah, I mean, I'm literally just chilling. I'm like, okay. And so I started playing Taken King, like in the labor and delivery room. There's a picture on Twitter of it.
She probably went into labor seeing you play PvP. She's like, you into PvP. She's like, oh, never mind. Oh, no.
So Luke's born way too early. And then I got to kind of like, I become a parent at that point. Life completely changes. That's an extra full-time job, having a kid. But we keep the streaming up relatively stable a couple months later. And then fast forward 2017, my second kid's born. Now I'm deciding to stream 3 hours a day, work 6 hours a day at my job, my programming job, and then stream 3 hours a day. And that's 12 hours a day.
Fortnite at this point? Are you streaming Fortnite?
No, this is still Destiny.
Okay.
Well, it's half Destiny, and then eventually, at the end of 2017, Fortnite came out in like September 2017, right? Yeah, and then at the end of 2017, we started doing that schedule through 2018, and then I finally decided to quit my job. Not quit my job. My wife pushes me. She's not very financially risk adverse like I am. Like I hate taking risks with my money. I like my programming job. It's not giving me the creativity that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of start feeling like I'm missing something because I'm doing all these like complex puzzle solving things every day, but I'm not getting the creativity. Like I don't have that passion. Yeah. That itch is just not getting scratched. And so I'm like, if I completely quit my job, I can focus on it and see what happens. So she convinces me to eventually put in my like notice to work, and we did it like 4 months in advance. We can train a new guy. Beginning 2019, January 1st, I go and full-time stream for 6 months. We extend it to a year. And at the end of 2019, we're like, things are looking pretty good. Let's try it indefinitely. And so 2020 has been the year of the, what do you call it? Glow up? I don't know. Like I've done way better than I ever thought I would do. And I don't know why, because I sort of have like, people think I'm joking, but I really have imposter syndrome where I feel like I don't ever deserve any success. Like I feel like I'm. It's kind of hard to say. Like I feel like I'm a failure, and I like anything that happens that's good to me. It's been just good luck, and not because it's anything I deserve. And it kind of drives a lot of like my channel and my content. And it's just who I am. I can't explain it. It's just who I am. But everything so far has worked out, and we will continue streaming indefinitely until it just doesn't work. But so far, it's been working great.
As long as you get to eat
Congratulations.
pizzas that's all we care about. Just keep.
Yeah, so part of my content is to try to make as very little of the content about the game and more about just random crap, unique stuff that I like to do. So
I do remember tuning in, and you had your live stream outside while you ran like 2 miles around your neighborhood. I did tune in for that. I was like,
I was probably running a beer mile where you drink a beer and run a quarter mile.
well, I think it was an
4.
incentive for something,
Times 4.
but I don't remember.
It wasn't a charity thing, was it?
It might have been. I don't remember why, but yeah, I just tuned in. You're out there running. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, we have walk cam, we have run cam, beer cam, kid cam.
Think of the cam, we got it.
Now,
So-
now, does Luke know what you do? Like, does he know like dad plays video games or like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you say the words. He's 4, turning 5 this month.
Yeah.
5 years since Taken King. He's really top of his class as far as like math and understanding things, reading nonstop now. But can he conceptualize all these things that happen during a stream? Like chat is individual people. This video that you see on this screen is going to other people's. I don't think he gets it, but he's a ham, so that helps. He hams it up, so he'll show off. He'll ask for specific emotes to be spammed in chat.
Nice. That's what you need.
He's my little hype man.
Okay. Most important question of the night. What's his favorite emote?
So there's one called Lep Sip, and it's of him. So of course he won't. It's
Oh, that's one of like the OG emotes, right?
Yeah, it's
Like,
one of the OG
actually
emotes.
official.
It's him when he was 2 or 3 sipping on a little sippy cup, and he's like, and so it's like, it's like the Hermit the Frog tea emote where you're like someone's saying something awkward and you're just like
oh.
So now you're just grinding Nightfalls, right?
The Leopard Lore. Okay, so in 2020, Grandmasters came out. I think part of what's helped 2020 and Leopard has been, Grandmaster Nightfalls. At some point, I decided it was a good idea. I don't consider myself a great gamer, even though I do play the game. I play the game all the time. Based on how much I play, I think I should be better at the game, but I'm still not that great. So I started, trying to solo Grandmaster Nightfalls and Destiny. And if you're solo in a Grandmaster Nightfall, if you die once, you get kicked to orbit.
OG Nightfall, love it. Like that's how normal Nightfall should.
But normally
be
you weren't solo, so you had your teammates to res you. And now you get shot twice or once, and you're typically dead. So for whatever reason, I was like, let's try it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I soloed the dungeons, Pit, Throne, Prophecy, and those.
That's hard to do.
For whatever reason, I got really into punishing myself, and it's not just for content though. I've always enjoyed really difficult things. Like even way back in the day, I would do like some Call of Duty.
The perfect run
training
kind of
challenges. Like there was challenges back in like Modern Warfare 2, I think, where you would like have these time trial maps, and you would like just do them over and over and over again. And I got like top 20 times. Like I got insane times because I would just sit there 7 hours straight in college when I decided not to play Halo for a day, and I would just do Call of Duty like time course training, and I would just do it. And, like I get into this mode where I just like I can OCD on one thing, and that's kind of how GMs.
Simulator flights.
All right, like, landing challenges, Microsoft Flight Sim. I've lost my mind. Like I got to get a 1 million+ score. I just landed today on a Cessna in Alaska landing strip. I got a top 150 score. So top 150 in the world.
Did you clip it? I gotta see the clip.
I have no idea what I'm doing with this stupid this controller, and I'm the top 150 pilot in the world. because I just do it over and over again until I
would
should
throw
just be
my
a real
soul.
pilot.
Yeah, I would fly on.
Do not fly on
Leopard
Leopard
Airways.
Airlines. We will
I would
not get
trust
you
you.
there in one piece.
You've got my purchase any day.
Hey, as long as you got Canadian Dry ginger ale on the flight, I'm there.
We got you. You might spill it sometimes, but
As long as you got those little biscotti things, whatever those are, I'm down.
biscuit.
Yeah,
Cookies.
whatever those are. I did want to ask though. So we know all that, but where did it start? What was the first game that either you played or for you clicked that like I love games?
Let's go way
A ball
back.
and stick.
So, I'll tell you my first memory of a video game that I've ever played was this Atari 2600 back in the 1900s.
What is that, Granddad? What the-
So my first video game memory, Air and Sea Battle on the 2600. It's this, couple pixels shooting planes, blowing them up. I was like, Mom, I remember this. I have a memory of it. And I explained it. She's like, oh, that's the summer of 88. You're sitting in your dad's lap. I'm like, okay, I was 2 years old. That's my first gaming memory that I have. I wasn't addicted to games, obviously, at that time. Probably what led me down the, are you going to play video games for a whole lot for the rest of your life as a hobby was probably grinding the hell out of Mario Kart with what would eventually become my college roommate, Awana. We grinded like so much Mario Kart on the SNES back in like 95, 96, like so long ago. And just like for multiple summers, just played it nonstop. And I could just lose my mind. I could just focus on
What
that.
character?
That's all I would do. I usually use Toad.
Okay.
I wasn't like good
Toad
enough.
guy.
I felt like Bowser, Donkey Kong are actually the best because they have like slow
Yeah, they're heavier.
acceleration,
Yeah.
but like huge top speed. But I was never good enough. I always needed like the little quick agile guys because I was trash.
I don't think
that's why.
Yoshi's in that game.
Yeah, he's in the original.
Oh, is he?
I
Okay,
think-
then.
Well,
I'm a
yeah,
Yoshi
SNES I
guy.
think is the original. Yeah,
Wow.
I never used it though.
Well, there you have it. Started on Mario Kart SNES, and here you are.
Okay, well, now I have a question. Now, this one is like, why couldn't you learn mouse and keyboard? And why do you have like the.
Oh, yeah.
Your controller setup is one of the most interesting, setups I've ever seen.
So I'm old. I am an old dog, so I can't really learn new tricks. So I don't think you'd see this. Oh, you kind of can. Yeah, there,
Oh my
there we go.
goodness. Yeah, what in the world? is
Yeah,
that?
it looks like a Lego playset or a Thanos gauntlet. People make fun of me all the time for it. All right, so basically, it's Destiny 2 is coming out October 2017, September 27. Oh, PC. For PC, it's coming out October 2017. It's like early 2017. I'm like, Destiny 2 is coming out on PC. I don't know how to play.
Everybody's getting it.
I haven't played mouse and keyboard since the original Rainbow Six back in 1998 on PC. I've been just a Halo noob this entire time. How am I going to play on mouse and keyboard? And so I started playing PUBG on mouse and keyboard, and I find WASD. I find using 4 characters of the alphabet so unintuitive for movement. Having to sacrifice movement to hit a keybind, I'm just like, my brain's like, this is stupid. Why isn't it just your thumb, like on a controller, for left, right, up, down, and then your fingers can hit all the keybinds that you want, and then you have a mouse for being able to aim. You have that precision, the quick whip, the 180, and I'm like, there has to be a solution out there that has a thumbstick and then buttons. That's all I want. And so
you got the Infinity Stones, and
right, I
So
collect
gather
the
them.
Infinity Stones. I talked to Star-Lord and GC, GuardianCon 2017. I talked to Dr. Lupo, and he's like, hey, I'll give you my HoriTac Pro. And it was the PlayStation keypad with a thumbstick on it. And I did all this research, and there was no keypads out there that had a thumbstick. And he was like, just try this one out. I got it from him. I started using it, and I loved it because it made the transition from controller to mouse and keyboard so much easier because I didn't have to think about changing my entire world when it came to, playing FPS. All I had to do was now I still have my thumb, forward, back, left, right, strafe. And then I had all these keybinds. But because the movement was something that was still in my muscle memory, it made the transition to mouse and keyboard so much easier. And to this day, I cannot. Every now and then I try to bring myself to use WASD and a normal keyboard with a mouse, and I literally can't do it. So thumbstick for WASD, hit a bunch of keys, use the mouse, and
do your fingers like go in it? Does it lock your fingers in it, or are they
Yeah.
It
like?
needs a
so
blood sacrifice. He has to
this
prick
is pretty
it
weird,
first. And
but so instead of having a flat board where you have to reach and press stuff really far, everything is just around your fingers, so you don't have to stretch very far.
Oh,
your
it
fingers
makes
don't have to move
sense,
very
though.
much. And so the likelihood that you fat finger things is like zero.
now,
Like,
is that? Did you make that?
No.
That contraption?
No, this is Azeron, a company from Latvia. And I contacted them saying I'd be interested, and they hooked me up, and then now it's my first ever sponsored thing.
Oh.
My first ever code was Azeron keypad.
So like your index finger, if it moves left, like that's a key, like that's something, like that's grenade or something. Like,
so in Destiny, that's super right there.
yeah, that's so interesting.
Save for the index finger, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems ridiculous, but
Best finger.
there's a lot of people do use these modified peripherals that are based around stuff like the Hori tech, specifically because coming from a whole different world, like I'm a young idiot, so when I see a new peripheral, I want to master it. But like if you have shit to do and I'm trying to play Destiny 2, it's like, dude, let's just go with what I have. Like, don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
But I'm stuck to WASD now. I'm a huge PC fanboy.
like
so.
me too. Like whenever I use a controller now, like I hate to say it, like I wish like when I played like with my friends on console and stuff, like I'm so bad now. Like I'm just like it just feels weird. So like I wish like I was still like good at it like I used to be, but nowadays it's so foreign.
I could never go back to my thumb for movement. This thumb is for jumping and jumping only.
See, like the thumb is so useful, and it's stuck
to demote it,
hitting 1 to 2 buttons on a normal.
Mine used to be
It's an
shit.
important
I
button.
used to be able
But-
to stretch my thing all the way to shift. Yeah, I used to.
You never saw that.
I used to claw
Yeah, he would,
and
like-
be able because we were
Like,
playing
have,
road
like-
day and shift was sprint. So I was literally like WASD and this dude would like reach out and the pinky would go way out here.
Dislocated.
One time I was like, how do you guys how sprint? Like what do you guys do?
Well, he's
'Cause
like,
this is
how does your
I would
hand not get tired or something? It's like, what do
I was
you
like, I
mean?
get a cramp.
I'm just thinking like because you have to literally stretch you're doing
Yeah, and
some
It wasn't
Crazy.
a 60 like piece. It wasn't a 60 like percent keyboard. Like I was like stretching this thing out. It was bad. Maybe I should have just got one of those things. But I learned through Overwatch. I was like, I'm going to learn mouse and keyboard. Like
I played Overwatch 2 in 2017 before Destiny 2 came out. Try to get used to the keyboard. I just couldn't do it. I gave up and I said, give me a solution that can work for old man Lep. And
You're like, Jarvis, make me this contraption that will help me.
Yes, Leopard.
That's where I learned mouse and keyboard. I think that's where a lot of people from Destiny 2 decided, this is where I'm going to learn mouse and keyboard. It was painful, but was it worth it? Absolutely.
I feel like I'd learned a little bit on something prior.
League, right?
Yeah, but like
wouldn't-
It doesn't really
League,
transfer.
yeah, it like transfers that I'm like comfortable on the keyboard, but not the same way where like I have precision skills for like a shooter.
Yeah. Finding that setup for a shooter is so specific.
It was very bizarre. And I will say there are some games that I'm just like, this works better on a controller.
Oh, for sure. Some do.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's not always the case. Like shooters, now that I've used like mouse and keyboard, it's like if I can, I want to use a mouse and keyboard. I just feel free, you know? Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
I appreciate you all giving me a bunch of books to read, but I've actually just been listening to a bunch of books. And you know the best way to listen to them? Using a pair of premium wireless earbuds, especially if you can get them at less than half of the price of the other guys. That's why I recommend wireless earbuds from Raycon. When I'm laying on my couch and Max just wants to eat and all he's doing is meowing at me, the noise canceling earbuds from Raycon are the perfect way to just focus on my audiobook. Raycon's newest, the Everyday E25 earbuds are their best ones yet. With 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design, and a noise-isolating fit. Give them a try. Raycon has a 45-day free return policy, so you can make sure they're a pair of wireless earbuds that are made for you. For a limited time, get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/GG. That's buyraycon.com/GG for a special 15% discount on Raycon wireless earbuds. Make sure to check it out now while the deal's running. Buyraycon.com/GG.
Yeah, every time I touch a controller, it's like being like the slow turn. It gives me like a feeling like I'm trapped.
And then I can't go too high sense.
But if I need to react, it doesn't feel good.
So where are you? So when people are like, I hate controller players, but then people are like, I'm a PC player. You're like somewhere stuck in the middle.
Man, this whole thing about like, okay, so I was a young kid. I would like get on my soapbox and be like, this thing that I like is better. But now that I'm old, I'm like, listen, everyone is entitled to like what they like. And you can't say literally anything about it because they like it. And if you don't like it, you can share your opinion why you don't like it, but that has zero impact on why that person happens to like or not like that thing. PlayStation's better, Xbox is better, controller. Like that feels like I'm trying to settle an argument between my 3 and 4-year-old. Like, and that's probably because I'm a parent now, and that's just
you just got the parent mentality.
I view life through these different lenses of how the world is not all about you, but now the world is about just like happiness and making people happy and being nice, and now life is so much better because I'm like, use a controller. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've done that before. That's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Oh, you use mouse and keyboard? Oh, that's cool. I tried to do it and I can't. Yeah. Oh, nice.
You want to play this game? You're wrong, and you're bad. So
right now, if I was a real content creator, I would be very opinionated about one way or the other. But that's I'm not. So here we are.
Hey, you are a real content creator.
Yeah. We only get the realist here.
Yeah, that's right.
Once you get past 1,000 Twitch subs, you can't you're official.
Once you get on GG Easy, that's when it's official.
Right. It's all downhill.
That's when the career starts.
I think I asked you in the pre-show, but you gotta get some Microsoft Flight Simulator controls or something. You just ball
They're
out.
all sold out.
Are they?
But the second I'm probably gonna get a yoke, which is like the weird handle
one
thing. Yeah, not the joystick.
Yeah,
the yoke is actually, I think, more precise. And based on these landing challenges that I do, I can set. I don't want to get into it, but I could be much more precise with the yoke. So I'm very particular about the hardware that I use. So I do a lot of research before I pull the trigger on anything.
But isn't the yoke, whatever you're talking about, isn't that more realistic to what an actual airplane would be? It's not like a joystick. That's like a helicopter, isn't it?
Most airplane. Well, I don't say. No, I will say most airplanes have a yoke, which is basically a two-handed steering wheel that you can pull back towards you, and that affects your elevators, so the pitch, and then ailerons, which are the little flaps on your wings to make your wings tip, and then of course you have the rudder pedals. Joysticks are the same thing, but for whatever reason, the elevator control is much more precise on a yoke, and this is what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, you'll see like newer airlines, like the Boeing 777s have like the joystick. Because like my dad works for the airlines, and he's actually gonna build like an actual simulator.
Let's go!
Yeah,
invite.
He's stoked. Well, I'm giving him it's like his Christmas present. When I get my new PC, I'm gonna give him my like old PC because he's like, bless his heart, man. Like he was like, I'm gonna buy a computer, and I was like, okay, cool. Like let me know what kind of computer you're gonna buy.
When someone says that.
And this is like 2.5 years ago. And he is boomer to the boomer like degree. Like
he's my mom, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I want to buy a computer. And he's like, and I want it to be able to do things. And I was like, okay, Microsoft Flight Simulator. They teased it about 2 months ago. It'll come out in like 2 or 3 years. And I was like, you're gonna have a nice PC that runs that. And I was like, do not buy a computer. 2 days later, I get a call. He's like, I just bought a computer. And I was like, what'd you buy? And he goes, I bought a 4K display Apple Mac. Like desktop Mac. And I go, how much was that? And he's like $3,200. And I just like, are you about to edit and direct movies, Dad? Like, what are you doing? You didn't even listen to what I told you. He's like, well, I don't know. And then so fast forward 2 months ago, we're talking, and he's like, Robert, all my friends he's an airline mechanic for United. So he's like, all my friends are like talking about Flight Simulator, and they talk about like how cool it is. And I told him that like I have a Mac and that we can play it at like our house if we have people over. Can my computer play it? And I was like, Dad, I was like, no. I was like, your computer couldn't even like get near like what you need to do. And he's like, but I watched a video on YouTube and it looked perfect when I watched it on YouTube. And I go, Dad, you're watching a YouTube and playing. No, yeah, no, he thought like because he could watch the game being played on YouTube and like watch a review of the game being played, that his computer could run it.
But conceptually, think about how complicated that is for someone that doesn't understand computers. I understand. So he was like, but my computer was running it perfectly when I watched it on YouTube. And I was like, Dad, it's not the same. And he's a really big car guy. So I was like, Dad, let me explain it to you like this. I was like, you have like a really nice like Lamborghini on the outside, but on the inside of your Lamborghini, you have like a Honda Civic engine. And I was like, that is not going to be able to do what you need it to do. So now instead of like working on some new car and like, he likes to like restore cars and stuff. Instead, he's like working on like actually making the cockpit windows. Oh,
and
that's
like,
cool.
He's going to try and have the buttons. So we're going to try and get him like monitors that are like, yeah, he's super stoked about it. But so it's going to be like his Christmas gift till I get my new computer, and he's going to save all of his stuff for it. And like the first thing he got was actually like a Joy-Con.
Oh, nice.
That's what. Yeah. So we're going to have flight sim parties, Lep, if you're in.
I'm there. I'm so there with your boomer.
Just land in my dad's driveway through the game.
You're just doing like speaking in his ear, like, ooh, watch. You're elevating a little too fast. Hey, whoa, your pitch is a little off.
Oh, he's
extra
like
notch in those flaps. Extra notch in those flaps. Increase your fuel mixture a little bit.
Back when I was a kid, I used to be able to go like in like the flight simulators and like actually like see the legit ones that United, and like my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so cool.
My dad would like show me all that stuff, and then like after 9/11, like nobody was allowed unless you're like a certified like airline employee.
My mom was a dairy worker, so I got stepped on by a cow.
I was like, "Where's this going?" I don't really see.
That's literally it. So your dad's job's way cooler.
I mean,
dairy, tend to the milks.
Did you milk udders?
The cows. No, it's mechanic. Like mechanical. Okay. You just stuck the machines up.
Like right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you never got kicked or like anything like that?
No. Holsteins are pretty calm, but I definitely got stepped on through the boot. Never anything broken though, but yeah, shoveled a lot of crap.
Ooh.
The story of my life. Definitely wanted to play video games. Definitely did not want to go into the dairy business.
Did you have internet? Like you said, you're like in the middle of nowhere. Did you have like internet?
So
at your house,
in the late '90s, yeah, we had 56K. We had 28.8K baud. So I mean, it's the same thing as 56K. It just there's so much noise in the line, it could ever secure a connection around like 28K. So that basically means if I was on Napster or BearShare, I was downloading at 2.5 kilobytes per second for like MP3 songs. So it'd take about 30 minutes to download a song. And
you were doing that in the 90s though. You're way ahead of your time.
Oh, like I was a little
ahead of the curve.
A little nerd. Yeah, I was a little nerd. No one taught me how to use computers from school. I would just mess around until stuff worked.
Well, one day your parents like, hey kids, we got a phone and internet, like figure it out. Or like
the first time I played Microsoft Flight Sim 98, I didn't understand AOL. I thought it was free. Played for 4 hours one night, and then next month my mom was like, "Hey, we got like $100 bill for
I'm
long
a whoop your ass."
And I was like, "Long distance? What is that?" It's like, you connected to the internet. That's long distance. And I was like, "Oh no."
I remember my sister one time ran up like a texting bill that was like, I'll never forget. We were at Disney World, and we were on like the ferry that takes you from Disney World to like the parking lot because you got to get across the water. I'll never forget it. My dad got the bill, and like it was like $175 or something like that. Literally grabbed my sister's phone and threw it in the water. I will never forget that moment. My sister was like so mad. She was like 12. No, she had no reason having texting privileges at 12. Okay. Man.
But being charged for text messages.
Oh, back in the crazy.
That's the bigger crime.
I had a limit of 4 free texts a day. And if I went over, it was like $1 a text or something.
Did you ever go over?
No. So I just couldn't text. Everyone at school's like, hey, like, let's text. I'm like, oh, yeah, about that.
Once you get to 4, it's like, I've already said 2, man.
We got to like write novels, and still there's like 120 character limit. So just
Christian's
condense.
in a book. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then they're like, LOL.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, receiving text, by the way, counts. So it was like send, receive, hope no one else texts me.
What a travesty.
It really was. It was stupid.
That must be like the third text. He's like, hey, do you like want to go out? And it's like your 5th one. You're like,
is this worth like how much is this going to cost me? You know.
I just remember the first time I had internet, I'd go to like WB Games for like kids. And one time I was on it and it was like my dad yelling at me because he needed to use the phone. Because like you pick up the phone and it would just like kick you off and then it would have a bunch of static on it.
Rabbi, I thought you were younger than that, honestly.
No, I was there. My dad was like super cool into like having all the latest tech. So whenever like a computer was out or like an Apple thing came out, he always like, that's why he got that Apple 3K. Someone was like, hey, this is 4K and plays in 4K. And that's all that's what he grabs onto.
And what
like
they meant, there's an asterisk, like you can play Farmville in 4K.
Yeah, it was like, come on, man, don't buy that 3K computer. But like, he just had to have everything new. So I had internet like that. And I must have been like 7 or 8 using the internet, or 6. I was playing Neopets though. That's what I was grinding. That's where you'd find little me at.
All I know is my parents were the exact opposite. We never had that. So it was just whatever my friend had. That's what we do. And I remember we would play like his GameCube game. And it would be some random game. I had no idea what to do. And so we would have to ask his parents, make sure they're not on the phone, go on the computer, boot it up, wait like 20 minutes, and then go to GameFAQs and download the text documents and try and print those out.
Write it down.
And then we're like halfway through printing and they're trying, they like get on the phone and stuff. They need us to get off. We're like, no, we can't.
Or it runs out of ink halfway. So you're like, what does this mean? Blue, did your parents have like all the coolest tech, or was it like Christian and you kind of just whatever your friends had?
No, I pretty much looked at whatever tech anything related to technology. My parents had absolutely no clue.
No.
Yeah.
So whenever it was consoles, we got internet. I didn't have internet until I was like, about middle school. That's the first time I ever got internet. And I needed a computer for one of my classes in middle school. So we ended up getting this like super janky desktop. And I was finally introduced to the wonders of the internet at the ripe old age of like, what's 6th grade?
I mean, we had laptops in middle school, Christian.
11.
Yeah, but
so they were just at school.
Something like that, 11, 12. So
I think the travesty here is your middle schooler being like, hey, you need a computer.
Required, but didn't provide it.
Yeah, because like, I mean, nowadays, I guess it'd be a little more common, but like back then.
No, yeah.
This was, I didn't need to have one, but I needed to have internet access. I mean, I could have easily gone to
the public library.
Yeah, exactly. True. And they would have been like, oh, that's fine. But my parents were like, oh, well, this was around the time we finally broke through into the middle class. So they were like, you know what, let's get a computer. And I was like, cool, computers are tight. And then I was brainwashed from then on to the wonders of the internet.
Blue was born.
Dude, man, internet back then was a scary place.
It's not great.
You were like, as a kid, you became. People think of edgy now. You have no clue what edgy was back then.
No.
The internet turned you into an edgelord back then.
I was gonna say everyone would be getting canceled right now if it was.
Every single person right here, if they were on the internet back then, said some cancelable shit.
Do you remember what your first site was, Blue, that like you'd spend time on?
Dude, my first site that I got addicted to was Newgrounds.
Is that like an arcade?
Love Newgrounds.
On the animations and
it was like yes,
that's right.
Very adult oriented, animated. Not adult in the sense of like, you know what I mean, like ooh porn. It was adult like in You had shit like Happy Tree Friends,
like NZ World, like those kind of like meme videos before they were Happy Tree Friends. I remember when my friends first told me about it.
I remember NZ
like,
World.
Yeah. And then I was like on E-Bombs World. That was like our like
E-Bombs World too, man.
Like mom and dad are home, and like like I'm at Jessica and Maddie's house, and they have the internet, and they're a little bit more loose than us, and they're not checking their history. So let's go on to E-Bombs World.
Checking their history.
We'd watch like scary ghost videos on there, and I'd be like terrified as a kid. Like after.
Well, what even was the original question? I took us on like such a loop.
Just like if you had like early technology.
Yeah, if your parents were into it and they weren't.
No, my parents were not into that. We were like for a while we were pretty poor, and then my dad got a really good job, and then my mom got a really good job, and then suddenly we are moving into like this starter home, but it's like, oh, this is the craziest thing ever. So now we're in middle class, so everything related to technology was pretty much exclusively up to me, because I mean I was the only one who, my parents, their lives were their jobs, and their lives were their jobs with their kids. They didn't have time for technology. So
meanwhile you're on Newgrounds.
And meanwhile I'm over here like on Newgrounds, like, oh, dude, this shit's so sick, like blood and guts tight.
I will say though, I would not have gotten canceled because one, I didn't have internet for a while. I didn't get to play an online game.
Free roam internet.
Oh, free roam internet?
Like
not until
Christian,
I bought my own computer.
Have fun on the computer. Like
not until I bought my own computer, which was junior year of high school.
Neopets too. I'm sorry to distract.
Yeah, I did do some Neopets though, and then I got angry at that. Anyway.
That was my slice of wholesome past Newgrounds.
Yeah. I didn't do much, so I spent most of my time on PokeBeach.com, their forums.
Ooh, look at Pokemon news.
Yeah, I'd post on the forums, and I'd spend like hours there. I don't even know, but like just with other like probably underage Pokemon fans like myself, and I would make like forum clans or whatever. And I would spend way too long formatting posts.
Mm-hmm. Would you bump your own post if nobody was responding?
Yeah, that would. Well, I did until I got in trouble.
Social warfare back in the day.
Yeah, you get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was typing a message, and I meant to type Shiftry. It's a Pokemon.
Oh
but
no!
I didn't realize I missed the F and put T. So instead of Shiftry, I put shitty, and I got like a temporary ban for that.
Yeah.
And that's probably the worst I ever did. And like I saw that as soon as it posted, I was boom. Like to me, I was like,
my
I just committed the greatest sin. Like that's
Wait,
it.
your parents had like a thing on it? So like
no, like the forum got me in trouble. Yeah. Because it was a very like
Yeah. How long was your ban?
It was like 24 hours, but to me, I was like,
whoa.
My social life is over.
I was like, oh my God. That's it. So all I did was that and try and make HTML websites. That was all I did.
Dude.
I got a GeoCities website.
Ooh.
Angel
Is
Fire.
It still up?
I had an Angel Fire too.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know what happened.
I tried to Google it the other day and it was like archived.
What the hell are you looking for?
Yeah.
I had all my Rainbow Six Rogue Spear info from the 90s.
Dude.
Time. Oh, and I remember though on the forum I lied about my age too. Like because everyone
who doesn't?
I know, but like everyone put in their usernames. You'd always have like like Rowdy Cool Cat 1982 or whatever. So I was like, man,
like the year you were born.
Yeah. So I was like, man. So I put it like my older brother's birthday. It's like they're never gonna know.
Do you remember what your username was?
It's so wholesome.
Jeez, it had Bonsly, Pokemon, and then I forget what else.
And then a year, obviously, because you were lying about your age.
Yeah, and then my age.
Dude, yeah, I was like so whole. Like Fru's like the kid I would shit talk on like the before it was before Pokemon Showdown, like way before. There was like an old sim back in the day, but
I'd probably see your comment, just be like,
I'd be like the guy who would like shit talk someone like, dude,
Mom,
you're fucking trash. Nice team, idiot. What EVs are on that shit tree?
I'd be crying like, why are you saying this to me?
I raised this shit tree, a shift tree.
This reminds me of like being on LimeWire and like teaching my parents on like what the exact song was, and like instead of just downloading like a random file. Yeah, just like how my dad would always be like, Robert, can you download us some songs? Because every time my dad do it, it would be like an ad. Instead, it'd be like, thank you for buying this like song. Visit like so. It was always like he's always just downloading ads because he wouldn't look at like the time of how long the song was. Because people would just try and put their own music or ads on LimeWire. And and that's why he still thinks like viruses are still a thing. Like they are, but they're definitely not as like, I think it's easy to download. Yeah, because he thinks like it's like you click on a link, you got a virus now. Because like I always would tell him to get a PC, and he's like, Macs never get viruses, Robert. Like if I got a PC, like I would have so many viruses. Meanwhile, I go onto his computer and it's like, use Mac Clean, which is like clearly a third thing that he downloaded off some site that was like, hey, clean your Mac with malware. Meanwhile, downloading the malware thing that says that he's deleting malware.
Sounds like you need to visit your dad and set him straight.
Listen here,
I'm
Father.
that's what Christmas is for.
Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
These days, it seems like people are putting CBD in everything. There's a lot of noise, but there's one company from Vermont that's worth the hype, and it's called Sunsoil. I've been taking some of their soft gels, CBDs, every morning, and every time I try and go to sleep, and I just wake up and feeling more and more refreshed every morning by them. Sunsoil makes CBD oil that is USDA certified organic. CBD is made from hemp plants, so you know the hemp is grown really matters. Sunsoil farms their hemp in Vermont. They have never used pesticides, herbicides, or GMOs. I try and be mindful about what I'm putting in my body. That's why I love Sunsoil is made from simple ingredients that I can pronounce. Many of their products contain coconut oil and hemp, and that's it. Sunsoil also donates a percentage of their sales, 1%, for the planet to environmental and community causes. Sunsoil makes CBD oil with simple organic ingredients. Get 30% off your first order by going to sunsoil.com/GG. That's sunsoil.com/GG for 30% off your first order. Sunsoil.com/GG.
That was true for a good while. I remember like that was the advantage at first of Macs. Like you don't have to worry about viruses.
Right, yeah, for sure.
But then it got popular and people...
Or phones.
Yeah, and people figured it out, and now... No, like it's completely fair game.
You still really don't have to. It's just like obviously, if you click a link, man, if you click it down, never click the big red download button.
That's what my dad does.
You gotta click the small download button.
The little red
X. That's the real download button.
Like just look for the perimeter first, like little tiny that one.
Which is the real download button? That stuff that
it's like a roulette.
That you just can't like teach in class. Like, that's such a weird like for. I mean, I know they do classes for like how to browse the internet now, especially for older people. Like plus like 40s, 50s, and God, I wonder how like they explain that to them. Like
they can't.
Like they see like a diagram and it's like there's three okay, so you're going to the YouTube link clip creator, right. YouTube to MP3. Now you see this page, there's 3 downloads buttons. Which is the real download button?
It's
like,
called,
how do you explain?
It's called tacit knowledge. It's knowledge you can't explain, you just have to experience. Like riding a bike. You can't tell someone to ride a bike, you just gotta do it and figure it out. You gotta figure out what download button to click or else you get a virus.
I remember when I was at
years of experience.
The Mac store a little while ago, but I was there waiting for something. I think Claire might have been getting something, but they were doing like a class in the store, and it was like how to use your camera, and it was just the most basic stuff. And it was like, here's the camera app, like click this, and then like this button takes a picture, and if you want video, like slide to where it says video. And I was sitting here like, who even needs to know this? And then I realized like all the people there, they're like
everyone
like taking notes and stuff, like
that's
and they're
amazing.
Like how'd you do that? And I'm just like, yeah, like to me, I couldn't imagine that, but yeah, I guess like I know in 30 years or something, if I have a kid, he's gonna be like, look at this. I'm gonna be like, what the heck is that?
I don't know if we're gonna. I think because we're so in tune with technology, it's not gonna be as drastic.
I know. We'll have it a little easier.
Because the 2000s was just such like a huge like cultural shift when it came to how technology worked. When
I
it came
feel
to
like they said that
accessibility.
though every 20 years. That's what people say.
I think the big like shift this time around was like smartphones, right? Because smartphones and the availability of desktop computers and how ubiquitous they are. And it's just like, well, if you need to learn how to use these things, or else you're just gonna suck at
Everything.
like COVID now, right? Everyone's working from home. What are the two things you use all the time? You use your phone, and you use your laptop or desktop.
That's
PC.
true.
Hey, I'll have you know, my dad had a Palm Pad, and it was sick. Okay, he was ahead of his time.
Palm what?
Isn't that what it's called? Palm Pad. It was like
BlackBerry.
Yeah, well, that's what it. There's like
I have
two
no
ways to
idea.
call it.
The
Okay,
T-Mobile
wait.
flip thing?
No, like when it was like a little square. It was like the BlackBerry, but I think it was a different company, or that's just what it was alternatively called. But I remember seeing that. I was like, this is insane.
Fruit. If I ask you, show me with your hand you being on the phone. Like show me what you would use with your hand to show that you were on the phone.
So it is.
Okay. Rabby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on the phone.
And blue.
So same.
Yeah.
If you ask anyone
Would it be like?
younger, like a teenager younger,
Oh,
they go
yeah.
like this. I asked Luke, I was like, show me like you being on the phone. He's like this. All kids just go like this. Cause like
Yeah, because all they know
it's
is
this now. It's this.
Yep.
It's not this. It's not the old handhelds where you had the mic and the
Yeah.
and so that's completely changed. If you ask anyone young, they go like this, and you ask anyone like us, it's like this. I asked my grandparents, like, show me you being on the phone. They're like, oh, like this.
No way.
And I was like, no way.
What is
Because
that?
they
That's
had
not
two
called a-
pieces.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that called though? That's like not a phone though, right? Didn't they call it
Yeah, it was-
something different?
whatever,
It
it's
was
like, yeah, like
a
this,
megaphone.
Oh
or-
my
I
God.
can't remember.
I just realized what you were doing, and I
Yeah.
didn't. It took me like 10 seconds to figure out like what are they.
That's
doing?
literally like
Oh,
let them
Yeah,
know,
the two
like
pieces.
tell
They had the
everybody.
two pieces. Yeah.
yeah, the 2-piece phone.
And
Like,
that's
tell
how
everybody
technology's
everything's on fire.
advanced.
Yeah, okay. Like that was like what
patch
yeah.
me into think. Gotcha.
Yeah. Cord. Like,
And kids these days won't know the struggle of having a wired like a cord phone, and only being
Oh,
you want to
God.
talk to somebody, but you don't want people to hear. You can only go like 3 feet though, so it's like you trying to
Dude.
like round the corner. Like
Yeah, we used to have this old Mickey Mouse phone. For the longest time, that was our home phone. Home phones, by the way. What was it?
oh, those are yeah. I miss like landlines. No one has.
I still
those
have to
anymore.
have one to have cable. It is so stupid. Like
What?
I have cable.
I technically have I have cable because
I don't have cable.
I watch football and
It's
I
sports.
I
If you have
hate
TV,
being
it's
10
sports.
I hate being like 10 seconds behind. Like if I'm watching Hulu live sports, I'm always 10 to 15 30 seconds behind what's actually happening. And I'm always on my phone for fantasy and stuff like that. So I'll see spoilers and stuff like that. So I actually have to get cable. But they
Have
you
to.
get- if you have a landline, it's cheaper. So I technically actually have a landline, but no phone is
What's your
connected
number,
to it.
Rabby?
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I could not even
Hit you up.
I have a home phone number. I don't even know what it is. They're like, "Do you want to know what it is?" I was like, "I don't care, man. Like, I'm not gonna hook it up. Maybe one of those phones that's like the soup and then soup and then,
Yeah, and then
I don't know.
Rotary?
I don't know
Yeah,
how.
Rotary.
I still don't know how to use rotary phones.
I don't either. My grandparents had one, and I'd always just kind of.
I
mess
see
with
them.
it.
I'm just like, what is this?
Leopard, do you know how they work? Because correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we had one for years. I mean, I'm 34, so we had one for years. We were pretty poor, so we didn't get upgraded to the wireless stuff till much later.
So if I wanted to, let's say, like 543, I would put my finger in the 5 hole, go all the way around to the right until it hits, and like let it roll back.
And let it go, and it goes back, and that for whatever reason that sends the 5 signal. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 in the finger all the way back. Right.
Yeah, so if you had a lot of 9s, you're taking forever. If you had a lot of 1s, it's quick.
What happens if you messed up though? Was there a delete key or like how did you do the next one?
Undo.
You just had to throw the phone away and buy a new one. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's one and done.
You just had to call the number and like
That
play
was-
a game.
That's probably the most millennial question I've ever asked.
That's pretty terrible.
Like, is there an
I'm a
undo?
zoomer.
Like, Like, what do you do? Like, if it's the 303, but you do
What's the
313,
Control-Z?
and then it's like, do I go back to 303 or am I at 301-303 now? Like, how do I get?
Don't you just
how do I
hang the
reset
phone
it?
up and then do it again?
You just called 911. Cops are coming.
Help!
Help
I
me.
think I messed up the phone number. Like, we're sending someone right
I like
away.
that. I like that Family Guy thing where it's like, this is where like new phones came out, and he's like, "Hello, this is somebody." He's like, "Oh, what's up, Gerald?" He's like, "Who do you think you're calling?" He's like, "I'm calling 3, right?" He's like, "Oh, this is 5." Like, sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry, this is 5.
Just funny that. Well, it's like I feel like Rob, Blue, and I are around the age where we were just barely in between, where like we kind of saw the stuff before, and then we grew up with all the new stuff. Well, some of it.
How old are y'all?
1994 is the year most of us were born. Right? Blue's
26
93.
in 5 days.
Yeah, we're all
Like 6 years younger than me. I got
We're
28.
we're all within a year of each other.
Yeah, so it's like we're just on that line, and especially having like older brothers, I get to see it all. So yeah, like we're like right in this in between that, like we kind of know what it was like pre-internet ish, and then we know what it was like early internet, and then we know what it was like in the boom it is now.
Yeah.
We
The whole
kind of
gambit.
speak like, I mean, I feel like most millennials within like that 10-year gap kind of have like the, I mean, maybe not, because I'm thinking it. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, because like us, we were right where we didn't grow up with this stuff, but at the same time we did.
Yeah.
Like,
I still got to go outside and be home before the lights come on, kind of thing. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like we were truly the last kind of kid generation to have that.
and the, like old
But
technology.
then again, I don't have
know-
kids. I don't know if kids play nowadays or how kids play.
It depends. My kids are never outside as nearly as much as I was. I lived outside
Yeah.
Yeah.
as like a young kid.
Well, times
I
are
didn't really
different
have a
too.
choice
Like
either.
you could just go fucking play. Like, and like
Yeah, I was
alright.
gone for hours down in the cow pastures. My mom was like,
Yeah.
"Come back before the sun comes down," and
Yeah,
my kids
come
never
back before
leave the
supper.
backyard ever.
My parents
no.
my parents would come home.
No.
They'd be like, "Hey, fuck off, kid. Why aren't you outside?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Coming
it's
for
the
dinner in an
weekend.
hour or
Go
so.
away.
Yeah.
Alright, like-
Yeah, no, it's all because like it's crazy to think. I think we've mentioned this. Like, I can't imagine growing up with social media because we were like just barely missed it.
I'm so thankful that I didn't grow up with social media, because I don't even want to think about. I already have like addictive personality for many things. I don't even want to think about how balls deep I would be if I'd grown up with this.
What do
Well,
you mean
that,
grown
like-
up? Like, do you say grown up like in elementary school and middle school? Because
Well,
we
we-
had it like in high
Well-
school.
No, not really though, because we didn't
I
have like the social media wasn't like as big as it was until like
Twitter,
I mean,
the past
wasn't
5
like-
years. The past 5 years, social media has been like everything.
it totally has taken a different form than it was in like 2012.
for
Like kids
us,
grow
on
up
it.
with social media, especially Instagram. Like with
Yeah.
we had nothing
God,
like
the
that.
the mental game of it is. I already have terrible self esteem. I would be destroyed. Just constantly seeing highlight reels of other people's lives all the time too, because
'Cause-
you're growing up knowing these apps are part of your life, especially socially, like going to school. Like you have to have, you got to have a Twitter, you got to have an Instagram, right? Oh man, that'd be awful.
Well, not only that, it's like your credibility score at
Yeah.
school. It's like your clout. But for us, Rob, like middle school was pretty much like MySpace, which I never had. And then high school was when
Wow.
Facebook was taken off.
MySpace, yeah.
And then
Facebook
parents
was-
came,
Facebook-
ew, and
But
made
they
it
came
lame.
after high school though.
Facebook, yeah. Back in high school, Facebook was actually really cool.
And then parents came and made it lame. Everybody leave.
And then it turned into Boomer Book.
And then
Yeah.
I think senior year of high school was like the first time I heard Twitter. And I think that was around when it first started. That's when I think I made my account.
It was
I made mine junior year.
It wasn't until around I didn't learn about Twitter really until I started doing stuff on Twitch. And I saw everyone else
Yeah.
had Twitter and I was like, "Oh, well, I got to make a Twitter."
I just
Would
never
you agree
even
that
had it.
Twitter's the best place for like
easy.
content creators to connect
Yes.
with
Easy.
people?
Yes.
Right
Well,
now.
Discord now is like a thing, but I
Yeah.
mean like publicly.
I would,
Yeah.
Twitter for sure.
Twitter easy.
Yeah.
And Instagram's just like bots. Facebook's just like
I like
Well, Facebook
Instagram.
just
But
I know
Yeah.
a lot of people don't.
But bots?
I don't.
There are,
I
but
don't
I
know
mean,
if I have.
spam?
You get that a
I
little bit.
just
I mean,
spam. I don't know.
I feel like
Every
you
time I
get
get
bots
Instagram.
everywhere.
but as far as the
True.
tiers go, whatever's bottom, I put like Facebook.
God.
Twitter would be the top.
Twitter's
and then
S.
I don't even know what I would put Instagram in the middle. I don't even know what else there would be really. For
Snapchat
trading.
is F tier. Like I hate Snapchat.
That doesn't make sense.
Snapchat was cool in high
never did
school,
that.
but Snapchat sucks.
I have no photographic presence in any way, shape, or form. So
Vine was
Instagram
S
is just-
tier.
Instagram just untiered for me.
Yeah, but like that's not like Vine was like social media, but not like a way you really interact. It was just like
Yeah,
Vine-
just connect with
consuming
people.
content. Yeah.
Vine was basically like, I love you, Vine, but Vine was just beta TikTok.
But I mean, that's the same way YouTube. YouTube's not really a way for you to connect with other people in the same way that like you could with Twitter.
Yeah, it's more like ways to like broadcast who you are, as opposed to interaction.
So right now, I would say Twitter. 5 years from now, who knows? It'll probably change.
Yeah,
As everything goes in and out, especially social media so quickly.
Twitter's
And
been
it
holding
seems
pretty
like
steady, though.
It has, but it also seems like all these companies, it's like they can't do wrong, and then they make some stupid decision to mess everything up.
Yeah.
So we're
Just give me
for all we know is-
chronological order. I'm sick and tired of like from
Bro, I
9
miss
hours
that.
ago. Like just give me it just like I see it. You know what I mean?
because I miss things from people that like I should have seen, or like something important, or I just see all the same stuff. It's like I don't.
Yeah,
or half
why
the
are
time,
you
why
deciding
am
what
I?
I should see?
Yeah, why am I seeing people I don't even follow just because someone I follow likes it or something?
Oh God, no.
Like, what's the point?
I want to see Ravi's 4 a.m. drunk tweet, and that's it.
Yeah. Why else do I log into Twitter?
Those Voodoo Rangers just got to me at 4 a.m.
I'm the opposite. I go onto Twitter exclusively for the shit posting. Like I just followed so many like accounts that are just like this out of context, this show out of context, shit post super
Yeah.
fuck you.
You just
lucky
have
shit
YouTube poop
posties.
on your timeline.
Yeah, like my Twitter timeline is just straight shit post. So it has totally drowned out any chance of me networking with people.
Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
All right. Now, this one's kind of really out there. I'm taking Cam Newton to win MVP only at MyBookie. This is my really big pick I'm doing with MyBookie. Remember, guys, use the code OVER at MyBookie. Winning season returns at MyBookie. Winning season means doubling your first season. Winning season means Survivor, Super Contest, and Squares. At MyBookie, winning season means hitting all your parlays, your props, with your feet up, watching your team trounce their rivals. New players will get up to $1,000 in a free play designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet. Use code promo OVER. That's OVER. Use code promo OVER and double your first deposit. Thank you, MyBookie, for letting me hammer down Cam Newton. Check this, Cam Newton as the 2021 or 2020 MVP of the National Football League.
But I guess we can just go straight into the Patreon question since we just got off tangent for so long, as we tend to do here.
That's what we do.
And the funny thing
Yeah.
too is, I sound off, I guess, if you can, if you're watching this on the videos, if you even understood what we just talked about for 30 minutes. Yeah, a lot
Xbox
of you might
coming out.
Yeah, a lot of you
And-
might
and-
just be like, what are they talking? This is how you use a phone. I don't get it. But yeah, I guess the biggest thing we didn't touch on was the fact that Xbox Series X and S have been announced dates
Officially.
and prices. Yeah. Series X is going to be $499 November 10th. And Xbox Series S, again, I don't know what's with these names, because a lot of people have a good point. Like Rob's dad. If Rob was in middle school right now, like, Dad, I want the new Xbox. He's going to go Xbox One. That's ahead of, that would be like in front of the alphabet, right? Or X, or is it S? Which one do I get? I don't know how that's going to go. The S, though, is $299, but it's digital only. It doesn't have a disc. And it won't run 4K, but it can go up to 1440, I believe. Still like 60 frames or 120, depending on what your resolution is or something. But it's like a weird bridge, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
it's
not
less,
getting it.
It's less powerful 1X.
Yeah, so it's like,
but it's also slimmer, and it's a nice little entry
Looks like a
point.
speaker.
The S stands for slim.
does
I
it?
mean, I
Slim
me.
Shady.
Well, I mean, look, man, Microsoft has terrible marketing when it comes to naming conventions. You had the Xbox One S,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Back in the day,
That's a
cafe.
yikes.
Xbox One
But
X.
now,
Xbox.
because we're going into the next gen, it's the Xbox Series S. So
Bro, just
look, it's
PlayStation's
bad,
doing it right. Just keep numbering.
It's cool.
Just keep going up. Like,
That's what I'm saying. I actually think Xbox is like pulling out a lot of stops this gen, but God, the marketing's got to
but
the marketing's got to get.
What
up
do
there.
people really care about when they buy a console? Do they care about the specs? Like, if you're an Xbox fanboy, are you switching over to PlayStation because this number is higher than that number? Because,
no, I don't.
Because
think
Xbox has, a 3.8 gigahertz.
Their CPU is better.
I was gonna say, if they're that worried about it,
shaders,
go PC.
Whatever. Like, are you really switching, or is it just about the exclusive games that are available on the platform? The only reason these marketing things are, it's like people use them in arguments that don't result in anything, and people just end up either buying both to play the exclusives that they want, or they can just make angry posts on social media about this number being
has
higher.
2
nice
extra
GPU specs,
teraflops.
Sony.
Right? Like,
Dead on arrival.
Couldn't be me.
Like from a dude who's like not even going to buy either.
Yeah, I think
he's
when it comes to consoles, the main things that drive people, exclusives and friends.
Right.
I think friends first and
I was
foremost.
gonna say friends, yeah.
Friends first and
I'll
foremost.
buy both because I want to play exclusive on both sides, but I've always been a huge advocate for getting rid of exclusives because I hate the fact that platforms have so much like sway in the game industry when I feel like it should be more about the games and the gamer versus
Like
the
bringing a
platform that you play
community
on.
I wish you were like that.
Just being able to play wherever you want to, being able to play with any of your friends. And like
it's slowly coming with crossplay. Shout out.
Yeah, no, it's moving down. It's moving down that route, but I think there'll always be game exclusives because there'll always be that money there to give to game developers from platforms to support those types of investments to kind of drive people to buy both platforms. But all this marketing stuff I'm too old. It just washes over me, and I just. But so the Series S is digital only, no optical drive.
Yep.
That's
how big is the hard drive on it?
It has
it's got to be a terabyte,
half a terabyte.
Right?
And no, well, I don't know about regular HDD, but I think it has like 256 SSD. I want to say, or maybe it's like
it's got to be more than that because Warzone
it's some
itself,
300
you can't even
SSD.
download Warzone on it. Like it's got to handle one game at least, right? So it's got to be 5. At least 5. If it's not 512, that is a travesty.
I would think it has at least.
512 SSD.
512 gig.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Warzone. You can't play anything else in the Series S.
Dude,
like, it sounds terrible.
Call of Duty looking at those SSDs like, dude, it's free real estate.
Hey,
you
but
need
the GPU
one Series S for the Warzone, and then you need all the other S for the other games that you want
to
play.
The GPU though is 4
that.
teraflops at 1.55 gigahertz. So,
Woo.
Your move, Sony. Your move.
It's crazy to think about how much of a loss both of these companies are going to be taking on these consoles because you look at the specs.
Yeah, I look at the specs and it's yikes.
And they're selling these consoles at the biggest loss of any generation. Like, I mean, Sony usually sells them at a loss, but with how competitive the pricing is, this gen, like, God, they're
well. That's
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I want to see now. Is it's Sony's move now. They get the say, they get the last word. So we're gonna see, when does it come out? What are the price? We'll see.
I hate to cut us off, but we really need to get to Patreon questions. First question is from Riles. What is y'all's gas station order? I think we may have answered something like this before.
Nothing.
But mine is Flamin' Hot Munchies and a Cool Blue Gatorade.
Wait, you go to the gas station to get things?
Well, if you just go to the gas station,
Yeah.
like you just go to the gas station,
pick up some
yeah,
Black and Miles to hang out with the boys.
Yeah, or like, pick up hey, Rob Hack here, and I swear to you, you won't regret it.
He's gonna
Taquitos at 7-Eleven, fucking bang, bro. Like I used to eat those all day. Try a taquito at 7-Eleven. You
How
will
to
thank
spend
me.
the rest of the night on the toilet.
No,
by
it's
Rab.
great.
With Rob.
And then if you want to go super hack, you go and get the chili that's in the back that you can put on those nachos, and you put the chili on top of the taquitos. Wild.
Can't handle this hack, bro.
Yep, that is Rob's gas station hack.
I just pick up a Red Bull because if I'm buying something at the gas station, it's because I'm driving a long way and I need to stay awake. Red Bull, like coffee, back on the road. But I'm not going to the gas station on a normal day to day. No.
Blue, you got one?
Mr. Fruit?
Well,
for me personally, it's literally just Dr. Pepper, like a cherry Dr. Pepper. I don't really go to the gas. Oh, well, if I'm like on a road trip, it's like cherry Dr. Pepper and then just a big fucking Cool Ranch bag of Doritos.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking. Yeah.
If we're going on a road trip, I need to have my Cool Ranch Doritos, man.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing I almost never grab anything. The only thing sometimes would be like a Slurpee or a slushy thing, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You're so vanilla.
Or an
man.
icy or whatever. Yeah, I don't
Slurp,
know.
whatever that thing is called.
No
I just
flavor,
remember-
though.
I just remember
A cherry.
Flavorless Slurpee.
Please don't mix it. I don't mix the fruit flavors.
Pure ice, actually.
those are the worst. I do remember at a young age, we were on a road trip and I got just a normal drink, but I remember I got this like family size of like the Chester. No, not Chester Cheetos. It's like off-brand Cheetos, but they're like flaming hot fries. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. They're
Yeah,
like- they're not Cheeto, but
but
they're like these like
but that has the Cheeto guy on it, right?
Yeah.
a scuffed one, I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Similar.
look like Cheetos.
Yeah, but it's like
I know what
off-brand or
you're
whatever. But they have like these flaming hot fries.
They're fire.
I went through a whole bag. I'm gonna say my parents weren't very happy because we were on a road trip and they didn't settle well, but they were delicious.
You threw up all over the car?
No, just the runs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like we got to
Chester's?
stop. It's been like yeah. I think it's Chester's.
Chester. It looks so similar.
Yeah, but that was always the distinction because they weren't Cheetos. Because I've had flaming hot Cheetos, I don't like them.
It's the same guy.
We're cool Cheetos.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Next question is from Mumu Baba. What is your favorite Twitch or made up word? Also for Fruit, any plans for the special 2 million video? Congrats.
Haven't hit it yet, but thank you.
It's coming up.
I like the word Jehuba. It's a word I made up. It's a mix of the word Jabba the Hutt and just huge, and it describes something that's really big. So Jehuba. I like Omega
Jehuba.
too. Yeah, Jehuba. It just like describes something that's really big and ginormous. Like, damn, that's Jehuba, bro. Like that just means big.
It's like a PG way of saying like bahungas. Or
Yeah, I just say
something.
Jehuba. Like it's
feel
like,
like
just a great
That's-
word.
It's just fetch, and it's just not going to take off.
Yeah.
That's
That's hard to try.
Yeah.
Mine
I'd
is
probably say,
Tripolowski, but it's not really Twitch. It's just a meme.
what is it?
That's that Russian song, right?
It's the Russian song Tripolowski. It means three stripes.
Tripolowski.
Stands for Adidas, but Tripolowski.
Oh, that's because they wear like Adidas
Tripolowski.
jumpsuits, right? Like that's the joke.
Adidas jumpsuits.
Yeah.
They're jumping, kicking around. A lot of Russian themes on the channel. Yeah. Tripolowski.
Do I need to worry about you? Are you asleep right
I
now?
think it's
Like,
fine. I think it's fine.
Okay. All right.
We'll do one more question. From Resurrock Ascending, if y'all could go to any sport championship, what would it be and why? Mine would be the FIFA World Cup final because it's the biggest sporting event in the world, and to say you are at the most watched kind of sporting event in the world would be so super sick. And it's always been kind of on my bucket list. One day I'll do it, but we'll see.
For me, it's the Olympics. Just any summer or winter Olympics.
That's super cool.
It's been on my list forever, but it's.
Never went to Salt Lake or LA or
No, we had one in Atlanta, I think 98.
yeah. I was gonna say it's pretty close.
We were dirt poor at the time. And then
Yeah.
this year was supposed to be, I think, Japan
Yeah.
and COVID. So, no, couldn't do it. Maybe, it's been delayed till next year. So, fingers crossed. I don't know.
I think they said like no matter what, too, COVID, no COVID, they're rolling through 2021.
Too much money put
sick.
into it.
Well-
I'd say League of Legends World Championship
Oh.
Finals.
Are you ever gonna go?
If I ever can. Right now,
Where
this
was
year,
the finals
certainly
this
not.
year?
China. It's going to be in China.
Oh, it wasn't.
They're
in
all
China.
flying there right now, which pretty brutal for everyone coming in. So they fly in and they're quarantined for 2 weeks.
Sick.
But different than like normal. Like even though you fly in with your teammates, each one of you has to sit in your hotel room separately and can't leave for 2 weeks. Not even like,
And
at least I'm with my
practice.
teammates. Yeah, and then they're just practicing.
Even like a bubble, like it's not
No.
even like
Just
like
your room
how the
by
NBA players
yourself.
did it.
Oh.
Oh, because I guess they're going into society as well, like because they have to like make sure.
Afterwards.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm making a draft pick here. Christian, can you end the podcast while I make a draft pick here?
I suppose I can. Real quick though, Blue, what would you do if you could?
Oh yeah, that's right.
But wait,
Sporting
World Cup,
event.
sporting.
Yeah, if you could go to any sporting event or esport event, in my case, what would it be?
The Destiny 2 Beyond Light
Come on.
world's first championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was
finals.
GG over Easy, episode 54. Thank you very much to our guest Leopard. Thank you for joining us.
Leopard,
Appreciate
where can
you.
people find you on the internet?
Twitch.tv/Leopard and at Twitter at Leopard Stealth. We started uploading failed Tages of Grandmaster Nightfall solo challenges to youtube.com/Leopard Stealth, which is a train wreck.
That
That's
brand
pretty much it.
consistency, though. Love it.
Almost consistent. One day.
I mean, I won't even go through my spiel. You can find me, just probably search Mr. Fruit.
Search Among Us and you'll find them.
Hey. Rob, where can they find you?
You can find me in Christian's Among Us videos.
And Blue, where can they find you?
You guys can find me everywhere at BlueWestlo.
And with that, this episode comes to an end. Thank you everybody for watching, for listening. Bit of a shorter one this week, but duty calls. We got a lot of stuff going on. So again, Leopard, thank you for taking your time.
Thank you, Lep.
We wish you
Thank
well.
Lep.
Glad to hear
Thanks for the
2020 has
invite.
been well for you, and I hope it continues to go well, especially with
Me
Beyond
too.
Light. And with that, we're going to close this out. Rate us 5 stars. If you don't, we hate you. And that's not a joke.
Metaphorically.
Nope. Nope. That's
Bye.
Not a joke.
Bye.
Bye.